All right, so welcome back to another video. I'm at my friend's house in New Orleans. If y'all saw my short a while back, Bit Harvest coming to the Big Easy. I am in pretty much downtown New Orleans at this point, probably 5 minutes away from the French Quarter. And this is a long time friend I've had since the early 80s. Both grew up together in New Orleans, kept in touch. And this is one of the guys that I told you, if y'all heard the stories, that we bought a Helium device together when they were $5 grand on eBay, me, him, and another guy. And all of us grew up together in New Orleans. All of us been friends for that many years. And bought our first Helium device for $5 grand. This was where it was located at. And it ROI'd in 17 days. $5 grand, 17 days. I know you've heard the story before, but hey, that's my only claim to fame I got right now. So eventually at some point we took that device offline and we put a Wingbits device here. So what we did with Wingbits was we just took a computer that I had at work, put a Wingbits device on it. This is how original was, because actually technically it was a defly device. I'm not gonna lie to you, but eventually, we got out of that scam project, moved it over to Wingbits. It's been Wingbits forever. So the original Helium device we had here was one of the OG models, and it was repurposed through that time for something else. And I decided that one of my Sensecaps had to come down that was still doing helium. So what I decided to do was move that location here. And now we're running Bit Harvest on that, because not only are we running helium on it, not only are we running Wingbits, because this was a self-deployed station here, I'm also running grass node. I told you I'll run grass nodes on all my Bit Harvest devices. Here we go. I'm running Curecoin, helping find cures for cancer, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and all that research they're doing. We're running Honeygain. I told y'all, been running Honeygain on all my devices, made $100 right before my last hunting season on it. Pawns is struggling, but if I wanted to run anything else, I could run it on that. So also, I can see all my stats here of what I'm doing, my disk usage, my temperature, and basically that's everything that's running right now. If I wanted to install more stuff, I can easily just go to install and pick anything else. If I want to run any of this other stuff, Earn app. If I had a cred for Irwin, I could add it here. I have that on one of my other devices. Mysterium, Relay Node, Pi-Fi, Things 1X. If you're lucky to be in a location that has that. We don't discuss this project either anymore. And then we get doing the Wingbits station. I can then just go to manage. And when I go to manage, it's gonna show me, and I can put an alias up here on top to let me know where it's at. And I'm seeing all the different devices I ran. If I wanna go to see what my Wingbits station's doing, I can go to TAR 1090, see what my Wingbits station's doing. And it's gonna show me what my Wingbits station's doing. I still gotta go and peek the antenna outside. It's just laying on side of the house for right now. I did change the antenna out. I can then go to my helium. I can see that already within 5-10 minutes, it's already submitted witnesses and potential beacons. So that should be working. I'll go to Moken later and try to check that out and see what it's witnessing. This is his antenna for Wingbits. As you can, this is the antenna we always use. This is an example of what I tell you, that some installs are not the best locations. Again, this one's been here for a while. He has this gorgeous house right next to it. This is called the Lakeview area of New Orleans. And they got some gorgeous houses here, but they're big and fancy. But one thing is, the New Orleans International Airport is only a few miles that way. This right here, when we had it running, was one of the best stations I had as far as measuring ground and low flights, because the flight area, every flight that comes into Moisant normally comes across Lake Pontchartrain, which is literally, I could walk there, even my fat butt, because it's only about 5 or 6 blocks that way. Every plane's coming in directly, which has clear line of sight that way, coming in from the lake to Moisant, I call it Moisant, New Orleans International Airport. But also, there's also a private or smaller New Orleans lakefront airport that's right across this way, which is clear line of sight going that way. This house is not blocking it, where a lot of private jets come in. Sometimes some government officials come in, military come in, so we're picking up that also at this location. So I wanted to show y'all that because just because this big old mansion that some doctor owns next to us, clearly over $1 million home, it is blocking and shading it to one direction, but it's not blocking the lake, it's not blocking the New Orleans International Airport. So this is the setup that we took out. Now, before I show y'all this setup, because I know I'm gonna get so much flack over it, this is one of those, as Grumpy calls it, do as I say. Maybe I need to put that on the hat now. Do as I say, not as I do moment. I do not support this setup at all, but when the person's gonna allow you to put one antenna up with one line going through his wall, you make certain things happen. I don't know how this is gonna end up. I don't know what kind of reports I'm gonna get. I don't know if I'm gonna blow up the machine. So please don't ask me too many recommendations on this because I do not really support this setup with anybody else doing it. This is one of those that you make it work with what you can work with. So he has a wire that comes through here to that antenna that does have a ground block outside. I will get a picture of it before that because we don't talk about that enough. As you can see, I have a radar box. This is this extra one I had because you know I don't support these green ones anymore, but that's what it is. Just to give it a little bit extra filtration because we are running a Y adapter. So as you can see, again, I don't support this kind of setup. I've knocked it when other people have tried it, but I'm gonna do what I have to do to get this device online. So I added a non-15 megahertz filter right here, if y'all can see that. Bandpass filter, so hopefully it rejects anything coming out the other way. And I added this 1090 SAW filter here. Not that I know if it's even gonna do anything or worth it, but hey, Bit Harvest donated a whole bunch of these. I gave a whole bunch away. They all didn't get given away. Nobody asked for non-15 megahertz, so it's sitting around my office. So this is what we're working with. We're working with this wire that comes in, splits, goes to this. I got some extra filters on it, hopefully. My concern is, and what I've always warned people is, this is outputting power because we're transmitting, and I'm worried about it going in here. You're supposed to be using better filters and cans and stuff like that. We're not gonna do that for this. We're gonna try it out, wing it, and hope for the best. So this is what our grounding looks like here. This is something that we don't talk about enough with these projects. And this is, while this may give it the greatest lightning protection at all, it does have a ground block. This hopefully shunt, whatever you want to call it, and stop. It's got a ground rod or ground wire that goes down to a ground rod that's in the ground. Per code, it goes to the same one that the house goes to. And what you hope is a majority of your static and nearby lightning strikes will cause static. Dry wind will even cause static. That it dissipates off of this and goes into ground versus going into the house. Hey, it's been like this since 2020, 2021. Knock on wood, no problems, because you hope that this big old mansion right here will block lightning because that is a little bit taller, and that's what you hope. So one more thing I do want to show y'all that I have not gotten a chance to really go over. I've been very busy. It's not fair to them, but this is a sneak peek. I don't know if it's for release yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for it, but hey, I'm showing it to y'all. This is Bit Harvest Studio's new fleet management. Now, I do have to check on it because I do have only one device that's offline. This is the new device I just did, and it should be online. I gotta find out exactly what is it trying to check to find out. But from here, you know, you have different things that you can click on that, you know, I haven't really had a chance to, you know, to figure it out too much on what you can and can't do with it. I know it has different kinds of stats that you can click on. You can see with a quick glimpse what version you're running, if it has a packet forwarder on it or not, you know, depending on what it is. Like this is just a little potato, so it's not gonna have a packet or helium. And you know, these do. It tells you your CPU usage at a glimpse, your disk usage. It even tells you your speed, what you're doing right now, with everything. So it's pretty cool. You know, one you know, different way of looking at that. So it has different types of, you know, you can go to licensing, you know, you can even go to map, and the map is going to tell you kind of where you're at with it, where each station is. So that's it. This is the new, you know, and I'm sure there's going to be more improvements to it than that, but this is just basically You know, they told me try it out, test it out, and this is what I've been doing. So that is the new fleet manager from Bit Harvest. All right, so that's it for our New Orleans trip. Our device is up and running, and now I get to deal with the dead stop traffic all the way home for an hour. That's why I don't come to the city. So, you know, again, in summary, just so we can go over it again, what we did is, you know, we took one device that was only doing Wingbits, an old computer, took a Helium miner that was only doing Helium, and now we're doing 5 or 6 projects with that one Helium device. Now I can go back and use that computer for something else or whatever. And we're running the Helium, Wingbits, Grass, Curecoin, Honeygain, Pawns, all in that one device. Wi-Fi. Don't know what kind of results we're going to get from our antenna. I'm really interested to see the first time that Moken updates the Helium Explorer, because I am curious. But that area is completely saturated with Helium devices. One hex that's right next to him, the hex that he's in has no miners in it. The hex that's literally right next to him for Helium has 6 active miners in it. That's where that project went stupid at. It's one thing to have redundancy. It's one thing to go way overboard. The hex on the other side of him has 3. 2 are active, 1 is not active. The one behind him has 1 or 2. One's active, one's not active. It's completely saturated. So I don't think he needs a great antenna to be able to get a bunch of witnesses for Helium, but we're gonna see how that works out. So other than that, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Trying to get home. I'm doing my Thanksgiving meal with my family tonight because tomorrow is hunting day. Just family tradition. So we've always did Wednesday night. So for those out there, happy Thanksgiving, and see y'all in the next video. There'll be plenty more, some this weekend. Check out my other channel, Grumpy Dad Outdoors. There will be hunting channels. I'm gonna try to go live depending on what the internet does. Somebody keeps asking me if I'm gonna go live if I start seeing deer and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to go live. I don't think the internet's gonna handle it because that cell service up there sucks, but we'll see. So see y'all in the next video.